Hello, my name is Ascot Chang from Ascot Chang. We are a 70-year-old bespoke tailor founded in 1953 by my grandfather. And today I'm here to show you how we iron our shirts. Now, for the tools that we need today, we have an iron. This is a pretty standard issue one that you can find in any hardware store. We have an ironing board. I prefer ones that are a little bit more stiff without too much padding. And we have a spray bottle. This is pretty important, and you'll see why in a bit. You could also have irons that have a spray nozzle on them, and this works too. Before we start, the most important thing is to always check the fabric label on your shirts. And the composition on your shirt will correspond with the heat setting on your iron. So normally you have 1 dot, which is low, 2 dots, which is medium, and 3 dots, which is high. If your shirt has polyester, nylon, elastane in it, I would suggest to start medium to low. You can always work your way up if needed. If it's cotton or linen, as you can see on the dial, then I would start here, maybe a few clicks before you reach the high. If your iron's too hot, you risk burning your shirt, and we wouldn't want that. Now, if we're ironing in a hotel today, there's something else that's very important. You need to check your hotel iron. First thing, check if there's still water in it. If there is, empty it out, because who knows how long it's been in there for. After you have it empty, then refill the iron and crank it up to the highest heat setting. Once the iron comes up to temperature, you're going to want to turn on the steam, and at the end of your ironing board, you're going to want to steam and press. Sometimes what might happen is you have mineral deposits, rust, gunk come out of the steam vents in your iron, and you definitely don't want that on your white shirt. So do this until the steam runs clear, and then you know you're ready to go. Turn off the steam at that point because we won't be needing that anymore. Now, you can start with ironing your shirt. First, I like to start with the left sleeve. You want to fold it and place it flat on the ironing board, and you want to find the underarm seam here and use that as the bottom edge. Once you have set the edge, then you flatten out the sleeve, and then you're going to want to use your spray bottle and spray it damp. You don't need to drench it, just a light spray just to get the water into the fibers. The water helps to relax the fibers, which then helps you get a cleaner finish on your iron. Once everything is flat, then you can start taking your iron and ironing until it becomes dry. A good tip if you want to get cleaner seams is to use your offhand to just gently pull on the seam a little bit while you iron. Give it a little bit of little bit of tightness here, and then you get flatter seams that way. Iron, iron, iron. Up till about the sleeve placket or so. Then you want to turn the sleeve around, double check if there's anything you missed or if there's still any wet spots. And if there isn't, then you can move on to the cuff. Now for the cuffs, again, use your spray bottle, spray, spray, spray. On the inside of the cuff. You generally want to iron the inside of the cuff as much as possible, and save the outside of the cuffs for touch-ups only. So you spray the inside of the cuff till it's wet. And the cuff, there's a bit of a trick here. You want to use your offhand to hold the sleeve around where the forearm is on your arm. So just above this placket area, so right here. And then use your iron to work the iron like this in the cuff. You can go back and forth, and this keeps the natural curvature of the cuff and gives a really nice finish for the iron. As you get to the the ends, then you can iron up along the sleeve placket, and this is how you get these this area, which is always quite difficult to iron. And again, you iron until the cuff is dry. It's looking pretty good. And there you have it. That is one sleeve done. All right, and then you flip it around and you repeat the same with the other sleeve. I like to ease up here a little bit on the the upper edge of the sleeve. I personally don't like such a hard crease along this line. Some people like a very hard crease, and in that case you can really press all the way to the edge. I like to ease up a little bit here so it has a bit more of a natural feeling on the outside of the sleeve here. Now we move on to the cuff. Hold it with your offhand like this and work the iron into the sleeve. Okay, that's done. So now we move on to the yoke. The yoke is the extra piece of fabric that covers your shoulders, and this is a little bit trickier to get. You want to use the end of your ironing board and iron one half at a time. So I'm doing the left half first, and you want to be able to lay this as flat as possible before you iron. Spray again, spray until damp. And then we're going to switch sides to the right side. All right, and that is the yoke done. Next, we move on to the back of the shirt. I personally like to iron the inside of the shirt, or the reverse of the back. I have waist darts on my shirts, so they're always a little bit trickier to iron. I find it easier to be able to iron around them when I can see them like this. So I pull the sleeve through and start on the inside of the shirt. We will start from one edge, one of the side seams here, and then we will spray and press. Sometimes if you're not careful, like here, I just made a mistake. I pressed in the crease. You can always just use a little bit more water and treat it like an eraser. And then you can, once you have it wet, you can press it again, and that takes care of the mistake. Then you move it back. That is the back done. Now we're moving on to the collar of the shirt. My grandfather used to say that the collar is the soul of the shirt. And so we want to make sure that we want to get this part right. The collar is made up of two parts. There is the collar leaf on the top here and the collar band, which goes around your neck. And we want to be pressing on the reverse side of the collar leaf first. Here's the collar. So we spray again. Try to use your hand to block off getting water on any parts that you had already pressed. And a quick tip right now, this is a good chance. Sometimes if you feel like your shirt collar has shrunk a little bit in the wash, now's a good time to give this a pull, especially along the collar band. Sometimes you can get 1 cm, half a cm out of this, and makes wearing your shirt much more comfortable. All right, so we want to start with the collar band, and we want to start with the iron from the outside, and use your offhand again to keep this tight, and you want to iron inwards. You move to the collar leaf, pull again on the collar leaf with your offhand, and iron inwards. You want to be ironing inwards, especially if you have an unfused collar. Sometimes when you have an unfused collar on the face of the collar leaf here, you'll see some fabrics get pressed all the way to the edge and it leaves a bit of a crease here. Pressing outside in takes care of that problem. You're pushing the fabric towards the back of the neck where it's most curved, and that's where the excess fabric should be. Now you flip it around, you press the collar band again, and then the collar leaf again. Flip the collar leaf down, make sure there aren't any spots. There's a bit of a wet spot here, so I'm going to touch that up a bit. Just use the heat to dry out the wet spot, and then you press your collar like this. Next, the fold of the collar. This part's also very important. You want to make sure that the collar leaf is, you get the fold line right, to use the collar leaf to cover the collar band here. So you want to make sure the fold line is all the way up to the collar band, fold, and to get it in place, keep it in place like this, and use your iron to press it right here in the middle. Now as you press this in the middle, then you want to, similar to the cuff, you want to get a bit of natural curvature in the collar here. And there you have it. That is the collar. Finally, we move on to the fronts. Now for the front of the shirt, I like to start with the button side first. And I like to start on the reverse side for the button side. Why do I like the reverse side? A lot of times when you're ironing the button side, you need to maneuver your iron around the buttons, which is a bit annoying. So I like to do on the reverse side, and I don't have to worry at all about maneuvering the iron around the buttons. I can just iron straight down the placket, just like this. So, same technique, spray damp, make sure everything's flat, and iron away. And now we move on to the other side of the shirt. This side we can press the face. The reverse side was only for the buttons, so this side we press the face of the front of the shirt. Again, make sure everything's flat and iron away. Finally, you want to get the shirt placket as flat as possible. And using the same technique, pull with your offhand. Don't be afraid to press down a little bit harder here on the placket, just to make sure it's getting all as flat as possible. And there you have it. Well-pressed shirt. Hang it up. Don't let it get wrinkled again. And enjoy your shirt. And that is how we press a shirt at Ascot Chang. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you found a few of those tips and tricks useful, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.